Well, as you can see behind me and probably hear from the noise on the roof above, it's been lashing down with rain this afternoon here at St George's Park as England's players got together ahead of the two Euro 2016 qualifiers against San Marino and Switzerland. In terms of the team news for England right now, the good news was that they were able to train with a fully fit squad today. Roy Hodgson, who was in a very positive mood, getting to work with his players again for the first time since the summer break, and he actually also today promoted Dominic Iorfa, the young Wolves right back, into the senior squad to make up an extra number in training today. He's been impressing for Kenny Jackett's side at right back after breaking through a loan spell at Shrewsbury last season. Took part in the session today, hasn't actually played for the under-21s yet, but does have 5 appearances for the under-20s under his belt, including recently at the Toulon tournament. Other players of note that we got to see on the training pitch today, well, John Stones came out for training alongside his Everton teammate Phil Jagielka. Those two remain a partnership at Everton, of course, after his transfer request was rejected by Everton last month. He seemed in good spirits today. So too Raheem Sterling, who scored his first Manchester City goal against Watford at the weekend, and Fabian Delph, who's looking to start for England in these 2 games, of course, despite not yet starting for Manchester City since his summer move. Jamie Vardy also involved and pushing for his first start too. So too Jonjo Shelvey, who's desperate to add to his 24 minutes of game time for his country so far. Now, speaking of Shelvey, he was one of the players who was speaking in front of the assembled members of the media today. Plenty of issues to address for the Swansea midfielder. He's here, of course, because of injuries to the likes of Adam Lallana and Jack Wilshere, amongst others. But it was his availability that was one of the early topics of conversation in today's press conference. He was asked about whether or not he withdrew and made himself unavailable for under-21 action previously. That was back in 2014, having won his first cap for the senior side in 2012. Something he denied doing, despite Roy Hodgson saying at one point last year he was reticent to play for the under-21s.
I didn't refuse to play for my country. I've always made myself available, and if I didn't make myself available, my dad would have killed me, to be honest with you. I think a lot of it's been rumours, and I spoke to Gareth Southgate, and he rang me and said that he didn't, by the time the Euros for the 21s come round, he didn't expect me to be with them anyway. And I think a lot of it's been misread and things like that, but I've never made myself available for my country. I've always made myself available, and I mean, it's every boy's dream to play for the country at any level, and I'd never turn my back on my country.
So as I mentioned before, Shelvey back involved due to the likes of Jack Wilshere and others being injured, Jordan Henderson too. But he did insist today and was very strong on this. He's not just here to make up the numbers.
I just want to get a start, and hopefully I can get one, and just then it's down to me and to cement my place in this squad, and then go back to my club and perform on a consistent basis.
Now, if England win against San Marino on Saturday and Slovenia don't beat Switzerland in Basel, England will qualify for 2016, and they'll do it with 3 games to spare. Now, in some respects, that would lift some pressure off England and their players. Jonjo Shelvey has the argument, though, that possibly they don't want that pressure relieved just yet.
I don't think Roy wants us to take the pressure off. I mean, he's always pushing for that next step, and hopefully we can just go out and win the first game, and then it gives us a great stepping stone for Switzerland.
Now, the perfect 10 is still on for England. They've won 6 out of 6 in the group so far. We expect it to be 7 from 7 after the San Marino game on Saturday. So that perfect 10 still very much on, and it's something that Shelvey revealed Hodgson has spoken to the players about since they arrived here at St George's Park.
Roy spoke about it last night in the meeting, and hopefully we can go out and do that. I mean, there's no reason why we can't. I mean, I think we've got the abilities and the ability in the team to do that, and I mean, no matter who plays, I feel that anyone can go and do a job, and hopefully we can just get the 2 wins.
Speaking of records, of course, as we all know, England captain Wayne Rooney can break Sir Bobby Charlton's goal-scoring record with 2 more goals, and he wouldn't bet against that coming against San Marino on Saturday. Tea time. That would be good for him, says Shelvey, so that the pressure of that record doesn't drag on.
For me, he's the best English player in England, and he's a tremendous player, and I mean that speaks volumes of what he's about on the record about to do. But I mean, I'm sure if I'll play, I'll try and set him up to try and get him them 2 goals. But he's a great player, and hopefully he can do it.
And the sooner he does it, the better, in a sense, so that it doesn't drag on for a few games and become a bit of a potential problem.
Yeah, for him, I mean, you wouldn't want that on his shoulders. I mean, I'm sure he'll do it in time, but I'm sure he wants it just dead and buried and to just get the record.
Also today, Jonjo Shelvey, alongside his England teammate Jack Butland, threw their weight behind a charity campaign as part of a partnership with Breast Cancer Care today. Now, as you can see behind me, there's a bus which is outside St George's Park here where the players are based, which Shelvey and Butland got to have a look around today. It's going to be a mobile service which goes around 38 locations up and down the country to raise awareness of the signs and symptoms of breast cancer. Every year, 42,000 people are diagnosed with breast cancer in England. That's the equivalent of more than 100 people per day. There will be fundraising opportunities for England supporters as part of this partnership throughout the course of the season, and Butland told us a little more earlier on.
Obviously, I think some people might be surprised that a men's football team supporting, but really we can make a massive impact. Players' wives, supporters' wives, girlfriends, daughters, things like that. So we can have a massive impact on the disease, and hopefully we can help people and raise awareness for it.
Yeah, awareness is the key thing, isn't it? Which is why this bus is going around the country to lots and lots of locations.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Is that some people might not know, how dangerous it can be. They might not know ways of being able to spot it and get to the diagnosis quickly. So hopefully with this this bus and the campaigns, we can help people understand and educate them more on breast cancer, and hopefully prevent less people suffering from it.
So that's it from England. Again, the headline news: every single player from the senior squad was able to train for Roy Hodgson's squad today ahead of these games against San Marino and Switzerland.